Welcome back to Love You Bunches. We are making rotisserie chicken pot pie. Y'all, it's so bomb. I did not grow up eating this, but when I got older, everyone used to talk about like the memories with their Nana making this, and I was like, damn, I'm jealous. I want to make it. And so that's what I started to do. But we're doing this a bit different than how your Nana used to do it. Biggest difference between like your traditional chicken pot pie and this is a few things. One, we're using rotisserie chicken. Stop baking the chicken. Don't do the chicken wings and then shred them. This is so easy and it's so much flavor. You can get whatever rotisserie chicken you see in the grocery store. Tequila lime, garlic herb, black pepper and salt, whatever you want, get. Only one I would not recommend is the barbecue because one, I think barbecue flavor is nasty. Two, because barbecue really seeps into the chicken, and even with the filling that we're going to make with this, you're still going to taste it. So no judgment from me, but my recommendation is no barbecue rotisserie chicken. Next thing, we add a little bit of white wine in this, which is super yummy. And lastly, we do not mess around with the fuss of making our own dough. No shade if you're able to do it. If you are a baker and a chef all in one, you are a talented girl. But for me, I have limited ministries and baking is not one of them. So we have a quick, easy, tasty alternative. So what we're gonna do is use puff pastries instead, but we're gonna kind of like Red Lobster it a bit because we're gonna put chives, cheddar, and some garlic salt, and it's gonna be super, super yummy. So without further ado, we are going to get into the ingredients here. We have some heavy cream, which is gonna help with the filling of this and thickening it up. Fun story, when I first started really trying to cook, I thought in my mind that pot pies were thick because they had cream of chicken in them. No shade, because I used to really be like, okay, dumping cans of cream of chicken all day into pots. And then one day I actually did make this with my Nana. And she's like, girl, what you doing? Well, what you mean? I'm making chicken pot pie. And she's like, but why do you have cream of chicken? The filling, duh. She's like, no, you sound stupid. No, that's not what you use for the filling. Mind blown. So we have this heavy cream here. We have our wine, just a nice Pinot. Y'all, do not cheap out for the wine. I'm not saying you got to spend $30 on a bottle, but make sure you have a Pinot that you actually like. I know some of my girlfriends use Chardonnay doing this recipe because it's like nice and buttery and oaky. So whatever works for you. And we also have some chicken broth. If you're looking around the house like, oh, wait, I have chicken broth or I just have chicken stock. It's interchangeable. Use it however you want to. This is our bowl of rotisserie chicken. It's already shredded. Wanted to make it nice and easy, but I promise you it was such a good stress reliever. Just shredding chicken. I was like, ooh, yeah, her. It was like my own little, like, damn it doll, but with chicken. Oh, I sound super crazy and angry. If you see me on First 48, just pass the channel and don't send my article to nothing. Be like, I told y'all she was crazy. Not that crazy. And then here we just have our vegetables. I really think you have to pick and choose with cooking what you want to spend time on. I just have the frozen bag of peas and carrots. I'm not snapping peas and cutting carrots for this, but if you want to, you can. I also put some onions on top of here. Super easy. My Nana adds potatoes or turnips to her pot pie. I do not, but if you want to, go ahead and add it here. Also wanted to say this, pot pie is actually really great for if you ever have your girlfriends over and you can build a cute little bar and everyone can make their own little chicken pot pie. Obviously not for a group of 20, 30 people, but if you just have 4 girls, have a little buffet. Have your rotisserie chicken, have the different toppings they can add. Go ahead and have the cream sauce. You can put it in the little mini containers. Put those bad boys in the oven and everyone can enjoy them at the same time. So without further ado, we're gonna take it to the stove and start on our filling. We are back. We have moved from the island to the stove. This part is super simple. You do this all the time. We're just sauteing the vegetables and the chicken, getting it all there together. Highly recommend just putting some butter to coat your pan so nothing sticks. And you'll see in here that I left the skin on top of the rotisserie chicken. I just like it. It's like a fun little bite to get into. You'll also see that I leave really big chunks. I think there's a difference between like restaurant food and home cooked food. Have you ever been somewhere and you're like, is there chicken in here? Is there shrimp in here? My mom is notorious for this. Like, it's so embarrassing. She will literally pick out all the chicken or all the shrimp on something, and she'll like have it on a little plate, and she'll bring the waiter over pre-Rona and say, do you see this? I haven't touched anything at all, and this is the only chicken that's in here. Only chicken. I'm like, Mom, you're so embarrassing. So all this to say, we like big chunks. She wants someone to know that they are eating something homemade that you made. No restaurant portions. Big, healthy portions. The B in Brittany is not really for Brittany. It's for big. We like big things over here. So get that going. Make sure your onions are sweating down. All right, so we're good to go there. We're just gonna start with wine. This is just a cup of wine, cup of Pinot. Now we're gonna have some time for some heavy cream. Whoa. Yeah, so this is gonna help thicken it up. And let this just cook for about 10 to 15 minutes. It's gonna thicken up a little bit. It's not gonna get too thick, but if that's what you're wanting, whisk in some flour. I don't like overly thick filling, but it's completely up to you. So I'm gonna let this thicken up. Then we're gonna go back to the island and we're gonna put it in our casserole dish, and we are gonna start on those puff pastries that I told you about earlier. All right, see you soon. Welcome back. We went from the stove back to the island. We are here. Now it's time to start building our rotisserie chicken pot pie. So here we have the filling. It's coming together. It's thickening up. It's okay to like let it sit for a while, but remember when we put this in the oven, it's also gonna have a chance to thicken up. So if you're just waiting, you're like, where is it at? Why is it not getting thick? It's okay. It's okay. You're gonna have your chance. Calm down. So from here, we're just, oh yeah, this is it. We're just gonna put it in your casserole dish. All right, we've spooned it all in here. So now we're gonna talk about the puff pastries. Very, very important that you read the comments because I'm gonna drop the brand that I used. It's very important that you use this brand, especially if you are not a planner, because most puff pastries you have to thaw out for at least 24 hours. Yeah, 24 hours. And if you do not thaw out puff pastries, sometimes they end up being like very soggy. They do not rise. It's a hot mess. So do yourself a favor, get this brand. It's super easy. You don't have to thaw them out whatsoever. So on to them. So I've already cut them into little squares, but they come in these long strips. But for this, I just like using the squares so I can ensure that all pieces of the casserole dish are gonna be covered. So we just have some chives. We're just gonna put some chives on here. I love chives, so in my personal opinion, the more, the better. But if you don't like chives, don't add chives. Whatever works for you. And now they're stuck to my hand like little creepy crawlers. But it's fall time, so it just like reminds you of like a black spider. That's me. From here, just gonna add some cheddar. Oh yeah, it's going to come together. Put it in here. And this, we just have some time. I don't think it adds that much flavor with this, just especially how we're using it, but it makes the topping of this even prettier. Last part, I'm gonna become the black salt bae because that's what we doing. This is just some garlic salt. I like salt, so keeping it nice and simple. We're gonna put this in the oven for 30 minutes on 375. Let these babies rise, and then we're gonna come back once it's done. All right, see you soon. Welcome back. As promised, here we are is the final product with our rotisserie chicken pot pie, all done. Just want you to see the puff pastry part, because look how easy that is. So easy. We did not have to waste time making dough with eggs and flour and anything like that. Absolutely done so quick. Please make sure that you subscribe. Any comments below, would love to know your thoughts. I would love to know what your Nana thought. You know the seasoned and the vintage always have very strong opinions on the classics. So cook it with your Nana, cook it with your mom, and let me know what you think. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time on Love You Bunches, a cooking love letter.